now we fast forward to August 15th, another early goal from
The Tomorrow War, starring Chris Pratt, is a fun action sci-fi thriller with a little something for everyone. So gather the family, young and old, to safely enjoy the film together at home on Amazon Prime Video. Register to win to watch it first inside the Indy 11 app under contests, with the winner to be announced at halftime of tonight's game. And now, fans, tonight's Cheers to Indy, brought to you from midfield with your in-person Toastmaster, Wish TV sports anchor, Charlie Clifford.
Beautiful people of Carroll Stadium and the Brickyard Battalion! Summer is here! We've made it. And that's bad news for Pittsburgh, because they walked into the rowdiest crowd in the USL! Before the great Craig Ranstra accused the smoke, I need to see your glasses loud and tall. This one's for us. Indy forever! The greatest fans in soccer! Let's get a win night!
Jeff Rose is farther into it.
And fans, this Father's Day, don't miss Kevin Hart in the heartwarming, funny, and emotional true story, Fatherhood. Directed by Paul Weitz and based on the New York Times best-selling book. Experience one man's journey as he takes on one of the toughest jobs in the world, fatherhood. Fatherhood is only on Netflix, June 18th. At halftime, all you dads out there, stay tuned for how you can win prizes from the movie Fatherhood, Netflix, and Indy 11.
It's a good stat.
Yep. Second week in a row, that's what we did. Thought you'd like it. 1-1 draw. Going down. Another BT.
1-2. We'll have to see which end they're going toward. Hey.
Hey fans, the officials for tonight's match are Chris Ruska, Tyler Wyrostek, Rachel Smith, and Kevin Thigard. And now with tonight's starters, first for the visitors, Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. Number 4, Daniel Buren. Number 6, Chicago
more glorious night for the beautiful game than we have in downtown Indianapolis this evening. Thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer as they take on a frequent foe tonight, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. In fact, let's go immediately back to the two times that these two teams got together a year ago. Let's start with the July matchup in Pittsburgh. This was on national television, and simply put, Tyler Pasher hit one of the best goals in franchise history to win it in the 96th minute.
That was one of the best goals in any franchise's history.
So now we fast forward to August 15th. Another early goal from Tyler Pasher made it a 1-0 lead. But Indy played a man down for the last 40 minutes and got this penalty save from Evan Newton.
Yeah, that was just unbelievable pace from Pasher, and then just to close it out, the save by Evan Newton was tremendous.
So if we can see anything like that tonight, well, we'll be in for a treat as simply fans of the sport. Again, welcome. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Thanks for joining us here on Indy TV, my Indy TV 23. These are two teams that, simply put, have high expectations coming into the season, and both are kind of fair to middling at this point of the year.
Yeah, and I think, too, both of them have tremendous respect for each other. They scheduled each other in preseason because they wanted to measure themselves up against the best. Now we get to see them after they've had a month to kind of work things out.
The Indy 11 are currently in a playoff position because they're in the top four in the Central Division. But again, it is so early in the campaign. This is match number 8 of the season for the Indy 11. And recent form, very recent, has not been so good. But you go to kind of the start of what this is, the 5th match in a stretch of 17, 18 days. That first one was an absolute high in beating Lou City. Since then, they have struggled. But the big news is Neviel Hackshaw is back from international duty for Trinidad and Tobago this evening.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have him back. But you talked about it. You know, they touched the top of the table, and since they've just been out of rhythm.
So with that, let's go to see where Pittsburgh is. And for a second consecutive year, Pittsburgh and Indy's playoff paths do not directly go through each other because they're in a different division. And Pittsburgh has struggled at Highmark Stadium, which is rare for them. They got a draw last time out against Miami 3 days ago. It is a largely new team for head coach Bob Lilly, but several familiar faces, including Russell Cicerone, who spent the last 2 years playing for St. Louis FC.
Yeah, he has been a terror for Indy 11, and he's picking up this season right where he left off. 4 goals and on a hot streak coming in.
Indy and Pittsburgh. Special things happen when these two teams get together. We expect no different this time around. Stay tuned. Starting lineups, keys to victory, and opening kickoff come your way next as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer right here on My Indy TV and ESPN+. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. And by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Teams making their way to the pitch. The select soccer ball is ready. We hope you are too. Again, these two teams played each other twice because of their proximity a year ago, even though they weren't in the same division. They're still not in the same division this year, but they'll play just one time as you kind of balance those 4 games that you play outside of the division. Our injury report brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. And Colin Haworth continues to be out, but again, he's the only name that appears on the injury report for head coach Martin Rennie's team tonight.
Yeah, it's a tough loss because you lose a little bit of his creativity and experience and leadership out there.
Time now for our starting lineups. They're presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And again, another kind of tweak of the lineup for Indy in the fact that Jared Timmer kind of moves up to more of a midfield role. He played that in college at Butler University. Again, the big news is that Neville Hackshaw is back. We haven't seen Reese Buckmaster in the last few weeks. He gets started on that right side.
Would love to sit in the coach's room and listen to the tactics and, is this because something they pick up on tape? Is it something they see in training? But they make some changes again tonight. Let's see how that plays out.
Indy 11 last played 6 days ago. Pittsburgh last played 3 days ago. And with that, there is significant squad rotation for Pittsburgh tonight. Their leading goal scorer in Cicerone is up top. But no Dixon, no Dequa, no Forbes. This is a very different team for Coach Bob Lilly. But regardless of the players in the field, you know exactly how a Bob Lilly team is going to play.
You do. And the fact that you've got Dixon and Forbes on the bench ready to go, if they need that extra spark, you've got a lot of creativity in those two players.
By the way, Jake Leakers, the backup goalkeeper, gets his second start of the season in for Videola. Quickly, let's get to the keys to this match. What's it going to take for these two teams to be successful?
Well, for Indy, the first thing is energy. It's looked these last couple matches that the energy's been down a little bit more recovery and the commitment on the defensive transition, and then some back pressure once you lose the ball and it breaks lines. Then also it's the first 5 minutes. That's such a tactical and that's such a motivational difference in matches. And in 3 of the last 4 halves, they've given up a goal in the first 5 minutes. Can't have that to start. For Pittsburgh, they got to find a rhythm. You talked about it. It's a lot of new faces, and they're still trying to work out some of those positional changes and connectivity between the guys. And then the second part is possession and game management. They just played a couple days ago. They're on the road here in Indy. This weekend, they have to go down and they have to play Tampa. The easiest way to manage the game is just to keep the ball.
For the Indy 11, I can add to your well-crafted keys presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Try not to allow a goal in the first 2 minutes. That's kind of been key for the Indy 11 the last 2 matches. They have had to chase the game from the jump. In each of those 2 losses against both Memphis and then El Paso, and handball just outside of the box whistled against Pittsburgh. With that, we welcome you to downtown Indianapolis. As always, thank you for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on MyIndy TV and ESPN Plus. We welcome the crowd that is watching on ESPN Deportes, although you're not hearing Brad and myself. But if you're listening on Sirius XM Radio, Sirius XM FC channel 157, you are getting our broadcast feed this evening. We'll do our best to paint the word pictures for you. The canvas is a wonderful one from Mother Nature tonight.
Absolutely. Perfect night. Good crowd, good energy in the building.
Neville Hackshaw, again, missed each of those last 2 matches, and I would say there is a direct correlation as far as some early goals allowed with Hackshaw's absence on the field. Cammie Smith finds Manuel Arteaga. Wheat gets to it next for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's tough. I think Cammie Smith should have gone out wide to Ioze on that first ball. He takes that extra touch. He brings the defender right to Arteaga and then passes that transitional player off to him.
Ioze takes an extra touch as well, and he is whistled for a handball here at the end of minute number 2. Io will turn 36 in November. This is his 4th year playing for the Indy 11, his 9th in North American soccer. And we tend to gloss over the fact that he spent time with 2 different sides in La Liga before making the jump to play in the States.
It's unbelievable. We gloss over so much, too, because we're so used to seeing his brilliance.
This is Gatt who is getting the opportunity. He's appeared in now his 5th match of the year, but in his previous 4 appearances, played a total of 58 minutes. He earns a quick corner for Pittsburgh here in minute number 3. Jordan Farr has played every minute of every match so far in goal for the Indy 11. Only player that has managed that feat so far this year. Service sent in by Velarde. Hackshaw there to steer it some 30 yards away.
And I'll tell you, one of the things when you're setting up on defending a corner, you do want to put one of your best headers right in that front spot to just deny any ball going through the 6.
Hackshaw again will just hit that up Route 1, and Leaker will sweep it away. As attacking up the left side become the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. First time they have played in this facility. These 2 teams have been USL championship rivals ever since Bob Lilly got to town in Pittsburgh in 2018. Cicerone. Chip forward. Williamson the blast. And ricochets off of A.J. Cochran. Cochran thinking that Williamson was offside. AR says no, and corner number 2 goes the way of the Riverhounds.
Clever touch from Cicerone, and that's one of the things that the great vision of great goal scorers, they know they're going to draw attention. Can they draw enough that opens up channels and pockets for other players?
Bob Lilly made the move when the Rochester Rhinos ceased operations. He came to Pittsburgh, and he has brought nothing but success with him. A missed header opportunity by Pittsburgh. Gatt will track it down for the Hounds. Sends it towards the edge of the 6, headed down but far with minimal traffic in front of him. And as has been the case all season long, Farr has kept the ball on his feet or in his hands for about a millisecond.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, you know, sometimes it's just to break that first line. But in this one, you got a 1v1 with Gordon Wild, and you've got the sun in the eyes of the defender. You're just hoping maybe you can get a flick, a missed touch, and then you've got Wild with 40 yards of space going in on Leaker.
Again, for Pittsburgh fans or just fans maybe don't see Indy 11 games on a regular basis in this facility, we are an east-west layout, and it is a later start time than we are used to. Could be trouble here. Contact made. Farr holds his ground. Ball swept wide. It will be a throw and not a corner. Preston Kilwine, the player that made contact with Jordan Farr.
Yeah, tough ball. This is probably one that, you know, as far as watching this develop, and he's seeing the pace in which the player's coming in behind Buckmaster, Farr's got to be calling and saying, out, out, out. But this ball can't be played, just way too dangerous.
I think that's just part of the game. There's nothing wrong with, I think there's a foul either way there. Yeah, Farr will be tended to.
And the way he went down, and the way, you know, he was gesturing, you often get the wind knocked out of you when there's a knee coming right at your chest, and it just feels like the world is going to end.
Bobby Edwards is his backup. We have not seen Bobby play a single minute yet this season. Bobby spent some time on the FC Cincinnati roster. Played over in Northern Ireland as well. Relatively young guy. It's a young goalkeeper core these days for the Indy 11. Then you see Martin Rennie on your screen. Tonight, the 99th match in which he has been in charge of the Indy 11. By far the longest tenure of any head coach in the now 8 seasons of Indy 11 soccer. Max Rogers, Phil Presser, Andy Swift rounding out the coaching staff for Martin Rennie and company.
I'll tell you one thing, when you look at that play too, is watch the run of Kilwine. He kind of sees what possibly could happen, and that's one of those things you trust your players to recognize when those quarter chances might turn to a half chance, when the half chance might turn to a three-quarter chance, and you can see he recognizes it, and he does not break stride, hoping that that ball gets played back and give him enough opportunity to just get a nick of the ball.
By the way, Chris Ruskip is our match referee tonight. Jordan appears to be all right. So will be a throw-in close to the corner flag coming for the Riverhounds. Pittsburgh has not won in Indianapolis. This is the 4th time they have played here in the Circle City. Played to a 2-2 draw on a late Jack McInerney goal back in 2018. And Victories by the Indy 11 against Pittsburgh in 19 and 20. Opportunity here. Cicerone trying to find Williamson. Couldn't thread it through. Wild gets a touch. Griffin looks to settle. And this Pittsburgh team, just 7 returning players from last year, but a lot of veterans from other places around the USL Championship, namely Cicerone and Wharton, guys that Indy 11 fans came to dislike a great deal during their days in St. Louis last year. As those 2 guys were key contributors as to why Indy did not make the playoffs despite 2 victories over Pittsburgh a season ago. And
I'll tell you, one of the benefits of picking up a couple guys that played together on another team as you're rebuilding your rosters, you've got some chemistry. You got some little element where guys know each other and know the runs, know the pace of the passes.
So Leaker in goal, as we mentioned earlier. It's his 2nd match of the season. He spent the last 3 years playing either for Real Monarchs or Portland Timbers 2. Appeared in 42 matches over the course of those 3 years. He's the backup to Vitiello here, who had gotten the nod in 6 of the first 7 contests for Bob Lilly's team. Lilly's lone appearance June 2nd, a 3-2 victory over Loudoun United. Throw in coming at the midfield stripe for Kilwan. It is a very dangerous bench that Pittsburgh has once we get to half number 2, as Arteaga gets tangled up with Jelani Peters. And a throw in coming for the Indy 11.
And you always know, Pittsburgh's a tough blue-collar city, and Bob Lilly fits it perfectly. Yep. You know you're always going to get a physical match. There's going to be contact on every 50-50 ball.
If there was a steel curtain of soccer, by God, they'd be the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. You stated that very well. It matches the mantra, the ideology of Pittsburgh.
And you got to think, when you're looking at an ownership group and you're saying, okay, who should be a guy that represents our city, who's going to, coach a team and have them play the way that, this city would appreciate, that guy's probably going to be top of your list.
This Pittsburgh Riverhounds team is one of the longer standing sides outside of Major League Soccer. They were founded in 1999, but they have never had a run of success like they have had since Bob Lilly came to town, having made the playoffs in each of the 3 seasons since Bob has been there. As Hackshaw is fouled, Gatt whistled for the contact. Pittsburgh had never made this playoffs 3 years running until the last 3 years. They simply had the misfortune of finishing 2nd behind Hartford Athletic last year in their group, which then sent them to Louisville on the first night of the playoffs. And much as Louisville has been a thorn in the side of the Indy 11, the same holds true for Pittsburgh. That is the team that has knocked them out of the postseason each of the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's you could say that about a lot of teams with Lou City.
So made that last victory for Indy so special a couple of weeks ago. And Pittsburgh can forever say they won the first game in the history of Lynn Family Stadium last year. Cicerone's shot does not clear the 18.
It's a clever ball, and we saw this a lot with his play in St. Louis. He'll come back into the midfield to get the ball, and he'll sit in a channel with a ton of space, and he gets his first few touches before there's any defensive pressure, and he's got the whole field available to his creative vision.
Gatt will play the ball to the side. Throw in coming for Ioze here in minute number 12. Here at Timmer.
It's a good switch.
Finds Carl Ouimet. Carl getting his 86th appearance in club history tonight. He's now 2 back of Marco Franco for 4th place on the all-time list. Ioze appearing in his 77th match with the Indy 11 tonight as Gordon Wild draws the foul. Io is now tied with Matt Watson for 6th in club history in terms of appearances.
Love it. Love the consistency that they bring as well. And this is going to be an important piece. With a team that wants to press and play defensively as hard as Pittsburgh does, moving that ball east to west as well as north to south and doing it quickly is going to be a way that you can get their pressure to play against them.
Ball got away from Ouimet for just a moment. So with that, Jordan Farr will hit that ball to section 113. This portion of this match is brought to us by Keystone Construction. It's more than construction. Keystone, we build a vision.
You know, but the key is you gotta move it quickly, and you cannot have turn. You gotta break that press and then make him chase.
So far, possession dominated by the Riverhounds. Ball goes back to Jalen Robinson, all the way back to Jake Leaker.
Yeah, and this is just, you know, you're trying to pull, create some gaps and create some channels within Indy's lines, because Indy's the shape is pretty good.
Timmer playing more of a holding midfielder role tonight. There's Cammy Smith.
Good ball.
Finds Iose. And Gordon Wild had just broken off his run. He and I are not on the same page.
Oh, and I tell you what, Buckmaster was inside a kill line. If Iose could have seen him, you know he would have found him.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Temperatures in the upper to mid 70s tonight. Humidity levels awfully low. Will not get a better night than this for the next couple of months around here. Timmer weaving his way around the ball, and finally a bit more to safety to Neviel Hackshaw. Once again, Timmer wins the aerial battle. Young man that was captain at Butler for 3 seasons.
That's incredible. Great run by Cammy Smith, applying a little bit of pressure, forcing the Riverhounds out of that opportunity.
Nicky Law got just enough of that to distract Cicerone. Nicky, the veteran of over 500 appearances in both Scotland and England, leaving Exeter City at the end of January to play professionally in the States for the first time. And then Timmer upended by Griffin, rather nonsensically. Restart a quick one for the Indy 11. That's Martin Rennie you heard. I heard partner with Manu. I'm not sure who he was talking to. That would be, make sure you link up with Arteaga, the message that's being related. There's Manu.
Great flag.
That was the idea, but Gordon was offside. So
would have loved to see how that develops, but I think the partner and staying connected, I think he wanted Gordon Wild to be in closer to Arteaga to give him an option to work in combination to get through, but then also to see if you can't drag a couple defenders over and open up some space for Iose.
Chris Ruska, our match referee, Tyler Rostek and Rachel Smith, our assistant referees tonight, and Kevin Fiker is our 4th official tonight. Sports, this match is brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Now Wheat. Time to play it back to Robinson. Robinson and Peters serve as the center backs tonight for Pittsburgh. 4-2-3-1, the look for the Hounds this evening. Arteaga applying pressure, and Wild doing the same.
Good read.
Not exactly the ball that Leaker had intended to hit, but worked out in relatively fine fashion for the Hounds.
And I think the ball was because of the pressure. Arteaga read that the ball was going to be played back, that they were, you know, you got Wheat in a little bit of a jam on the outside, and when he plays it back to Leaker, Arteaga just read it really well and applied enough pressure to make sure that ball couldn't be driven effectively.
This is the final midweek home match of the season for the Indy 11. That's remarkable to say on June 15th. We have a good crowd on hand for it.
Look at that crowd on a Tuesday night. This is great.
The rarest of rare Tuesday night home matches for the Indy 11. give and go here. Williamson couldn't slide it through. Hackshaw got a boot to it. A while trying to buy some real estate. And Iose, in his crafty veteran way, draws the foul on Williamson.
It's relentless pressure. It'll be interesting to see how long they can maintain that. You've seen them take their foot off the gas a little bit going forward, opting to possess the ball across their back line a little bit more than playing direct and trying to find seams and channels.
Williamson on loan from the San Jose Earthquakes. He was the 12th selection in the MLS Super Draft. Now Law the target. Despite the protestations from Neville Hackshaw, it did not touch him.
Love it. I love the intensity and the toughness, but from everything you hear from every player, he is just the friendliest, nicest, happiest guy in training, in the locker room.
Of course, this match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. Neville, 3 years at the Charleston Battery, now his 3rd year with the Indy 11. He was first team All-League 2 years ago, second team All-League last year. And we expect him to have more international duty for Trinidad and Tobago with the Gold Cup approaching. But remarkably, TNT is already out of World Cup qualifying for next year. Our World Cup qualifiers taking place tonight. Canada and Haiti, El Salvador and St. Kitts and Nevis. As we're going from 11 to 8 by the end of business today. Panama and Curacao, the others involved in CONCACAF play this evening.
And a good decision by Cochran a moment ago. He wanted to play that ball to Ouimet. He looked, Velarde was jumping into that spot, so he pulls off of it and then looks to build through the middle.
Farr made the last-ditch decision to play that ball. Griffin wearing the captain's armband tonight. Been a threatening moment on goal just yet for either side. The one collision involving Farr and Kilwan. That's about it. Yeah, trying to change that. Cicerone. Yeah, onside, but as he was stumbling, knew his best opportunity was to hit and hope. Direct that towards goal. Steered it well wide. Goal kick coming in minute 20 for the Indy 11 as we remain scoreless. Watch this. The action continues for the Indy 11. We'll update you if need be on the replay. And Smith is fouled.
And I'll tell you, the interesting thing on that, too, is when you talk about the presence of Hackshaw, it was there on that play. Gat has Iose in a 1v1. He looks up. Is there space behind Hackshaw to attack, or behind Iose? And he sees Hackshaw and decides, nah, I'll get it to Cicerone.
Smith tracking all the way back here. Mishits that pass. It was somewhere between Buckmaster and Wild. Opportunity here. Cochran step for step with Williamson. Playing his first professional season. Playing for Bob Lilly, he will learn to be thick-skinned.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's going to be enough contact on Nicky Law to draw a whistle. In possession in midfield so far. I'd say being dominated, but in control of the Riverhounds. A potential playoff clash brings the 2021 schedule into summer as the USL and ESPN heats up on ESPN Deportes. Miami FC welcomes Birmingham Legion for a cross-divisional showdown in the Sunshine State. The action takes place Wednesday, June 23rd at 8. That's on ESPN Deportes. Iose and Hackshaw, cool and calm as you like. Great find of Arteaga, just couldn't keep it at his feet. Good read by Timmer.
Great step.
And Timmer, like any young man that spent any amount of time around Hinkle Fieldhouse, learned how to block out.
It is a great decision, though, because there was no real options for him. So you put yourself in a position where you're going to draw the contact and get the foul.
Fourth member of the Butler Bulldogs program to put on an Indy 11 uniform, joining Zach Steinberger, now the Tampa Bay Rowdies, David Goldsmith, and John Dawson over the years.
Hey, what a ball from Ouimet, and unbelievable touch from Arteaga to bring that ball down.
There is an obvious difference between this game and the last two for the Indy 11. That is that they're not trailing at this stage of the match, but in other aspects, what sort of changes are you seeing for Indy? Let's finish that thought in a moment as Wild found a pocket of space. Plays it across, couldn't get it to Arteaga. Lifted out of the 18. Ouimet then gets there for Indy. Griffin gets a touch for Pittsburgh, and Ouimet deemed to be a little too physical with Velarde and tracking that one down.
Well, I think the thing that I first go to is the first key of the game is the energy. The energy level is higher. There's a little bit more commitment to recovery. There's a little bit more commitment to pressure. But then you take a look at moments like that, and there's some creativity and some stuff going on up front. That I think it was the Memphis game, 0 shots at the half we had. It just wasn't anything dynamic, and you're already seeing a couple threatening opportunities develop for Indy 11.
The sports this match is brought to us by Bet Rivers, the official sports betting partner of the Indy 11. Bet with a winner. Unique that these two teams that have been so difficult. Think about the long home winning streaks or match without a loss streak that both Pittsburgh and Indy had dating back to the year before or last season, and they are two teams that have struggled to get points at home so far this year. Law with the pickpocket.
Great touch.
Opportunity here. Wild, Arteaga to his left. Now diving forward, goes down and draws the foul just outside of the 18. A card will be shown as well. That will go to Griffin. And now you have got a variety of options if you're Indy. Some 20-ish yards from goal.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the way that Robinson defended that was brilliant, because through that buildup, Wild is looking to try and find and see if he can't slip a ball into Arteaga. Right in here, as he's attacking, he's looking to see if he can commit the defender and slip the ball to Arteaga. Robinson gets into the place where he takes away the direct pass into Arteaga and forces Wild to have to make that run. Now you got a whole mess of trouble right here, because you've got options on shooting, and you got some creative guys on top of the ball. We saw Arteaga rip a ball against Memphis from right around this space a week or so ago.
For Griffin, it is his second yellow of the season. In the sun, still a factor for Leaker in goal.
Oh, I think it's got to be Wild with his left foot. I think he just got to put it on frame, test him.
It's Wild off the post. Iose tried to get there, but ends up ricocheting off of Io. Goal kick coming for Pittsburgh, and a missed opportunity for the Indy 11.
For Lord one, how many posts and crossbars have we seen him hit here just in the last couple weeks?
He is tied for second in the league in terms of assists with 3. Looking for his first Indy 11 goal, and had a wonderful opportunity there. Literally missed that by a couple of inches.
Wow.
Couldn't tell if Leaker got just enough on that to push that a bit wide, or simply the turf hop took it that direction. Either way, we remain scoreless.
You can hear, that's one of the great things I like about the benches coming to this side. So we can hear Lilly is trying to get his backs to press up, step his lines, and see if they can apply more pressure higher up the field.
Arteaga got clobbered that time by Jalen Robinson. Jalen spent parts of 6 years in the DC United system. Robinson making his 4th appearance of the year for Pittsburgh. And they played 3 days ago at home against Miami. They have Tampa Bay coming up this weekend. So very similar to the stretch that Indy is kind of ending by playing Pittsburgh tonight. Seeing Louisville and El Paso in that mix. Looking back post. Pittsburgh got a defender there first. Arteaga will wisely let that ball cross the byline for Indy's first corner of the evening in minute number 28.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Lilly this morning, and I said, hey, what are some of the things you need to be aware of for Indy? They're so dangerous on restarts. We got to reduce the restarts in our defensive third.
Nicky Law will send it in.
Good decoy run by Gordon Wild.
Right back to Law. Now Law redirects. Wheat got there first for Pittsburgh, and all the way back to Jordan Farr for Indy.
I love that tactical thought. Pittsburgh brought 2 out to match with Law and Wild. Wild makes the run in to open up that space for Iose to slot into.
Of course, this match is brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Cammie Smith, good pressure, and again earns the second quarter in as many minutes for Indy. Cammie really has yet to make his impact for this club, but we've seen some good things tonight. Already played one trick on the corner. Let's see what's next. Another short ball. Wild will steer it in, and well read by Linker.
Well done.
Linker from St. Louis, played collegiately at the University of Memphis. Quickly restarts to Jelani Peters.
Yeah, I think Indy's going to have some opportunities with that corner, because the player that comes out to fill that space for Gordon Wild, as things are developing, he's tucking back in and opening up even more space. And Farr
able to make a casual play on that one. This reminder, fans, it's Soccer Saturday. Takes place every Saturday morning on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. And guest on this week's show, we have no idea. It's Tuesday. A lot of it depends on what happens tonight. Stay tuned for further details, but make sure you tune in every Saturday morning on 107.5 The Fan. Nifty touch by Wild. Griffin able to cut it off before Timmer could reconnect to it. Buckmaster, young man that's played on this field as a high schooler and as a pro. Played in a state championship game for Canterbury School of Fort Wayne. A 5-0 victory against Covenant Christian a little less than a decade ago. We're going on to play at Indiana University. Played here as an opponent of the Indy 11 in a playoff game 2 years ago during his stint with New York Red Bulls 2. Here's Williamson.
Look at this, in this 20-yard pocket while Indy was building, there's 8 Pittsburgh players in this 20-yard pocket.
Williamson sends it across. We got there first and able to find Iose.
I tell you, that's the thing too. When you commit that many players to a certain area on the field and then the ball is turned over, you've got them there in place to again apply immediate pressure. The 11 have got to break that press, get it out to the other side.
Corner coming. Velarde heading that direction. Velarde, one of 5 players that scored 5 or more goals last year for Pittsburgh. Only player back of that group. The other 4 guys scattered. Different teams across the league.
Watch Peters. Watch Peters.
Velarde sends it in. That should be a goal kick, and it will be. Peters, like Neville Hackshaw, Trinidad and Tobago. Spent 3 years as part of the Toronto FC system, but never saw much in the way of playing time. Of course, this match is brought to us by Keystone Construction. It's more than construction. We build a vision.
It's a good decision by Jordan. You know, sensing that pressure's closing, the window's closing.
Hackshaw got there just in time. And a great ball. Wild and Law playing the combo.
There you go, gotta move it. Good build.
Now Buckmaster. A run by Smith. Tried to dig his shoulder into Peters to create an opportunity, but could do nothing with it.
I'll tell you, the clip that is going to be in the film room for Bob Lilly is this ball that Hackshaw got in the corner. It was placed over the top of everybody. Pittsburgh did not press. Pittsburgh did not go. That's not something that's allowed.
Eventually that ball will make its way across the touchline for a Riverhounds throw in. After tonight's game, the Indy 11 will next be at home on July the 3rd. On July 4th weekend, we are certainly hopeful that even more restrictions get lessened in terms of crowd size. But again, as I predicted to a friend of mine, this would not be your average midweek crowd because the weather forecast has been this good for today for a long time, and not exactly a school night on June 15th in central Indiana on a Tuesday either. This is as good of a midweek crowd as we have seen in either facility for a while.
It's fantastic. Way to go. Well done, Indy.
Nothing but Saturday home games from this point forward. Cicerone has got to his right. That sends it in. That deflected. Williamson never could get in a shooting position. And that one also off of Ioze, off the shoulder. Corner coming. Ball before that, the deflected might have been off a hand, but Timmer appeared to have it kind of tucked into his midsection.
Yeah, and you look at Gott on that one. He picks his head up and he sees that there is no cover in behind that defender. I've got a little bit of space. I got a little bit of an opportunity right here to try and separate.
Got a former teammate of Ben Spencer of the first Indy 11 team, because I played part of 6 seasons at Molde in Norway. These days Ben playing for San Diego Loyal. Now Wheat. Nice flick. Buckmaster did his best to keep Williamson away from it. The chance is starting to build for Pittsburgh here. Velarde. And a foul is given at the edge of the 18, and that's in an awfully dangerous spot.
Ooh, I'm not sure there was enough there. The tough part is he's already a little off balance and falling down as he's drawing the contact. Might be one of those ones where you see it late and you see Cochran's arms up and you say, oh, it must have been a push, but there's not enough there to give Pittsburgh this kind of an opportunity.
The box is 18, this is 19. Velarde to the right. More runs lining up here for Pittsburgh. They're going to overload the box. Velarde leaves it. Here comes the blast, deflected and in. Took a deflection after Farr had committed to his right. Steers in. It's been that run of luck for the Indy 11. And Pittsburgh gets the opening goal in the 36th minute.
Yeah, you called it. It's been that kind of a run right now. You go back to the ball from Arteaga that didn't get called a goal, and it's like you're in one of those areas where the ball doesn't bounce away, the calls don't bounce away. You know, here's a suspect call that turns into a deflection. You've pretty much got it covered, and it turns into a deflection. You know, it's about balance. It's about balance. But at some point, the other side of that balance has to show up.
Williamson deflects it off of Ioze and then Timmer. And again, Farr had committed to his right, and once he did, he's a sitting duck. So once again, Indy trails a goal to nil. Ioze. And he'll be whistled for a foul.
And now, at this point right now, too, with everything that's going on in these last 2 weeks run, the calls going against you, the opportunities going against you, the deflections, ricochets going against you, you got to keep your head. You can't get yourself off center.
Congratulations to Tommy Williamson. His first professional goal. There was a bit of luck involved, but from the Indy perspective, they'll have more complaints about the foul that set up said opportunity more than the shot taken by Williamson. So last year in 2 matches, Pittsburgh did not find the back of the net against Indy. Another nervy moment here off of Cochran. Pittsburgh team last year that allowed all of 10 goals in 16 regular season matches.
You look at the mindset and thought of Pittsburgh coming in. Can they get fresh legs from Dixon and Forbes on Saturday in Tampa Bay? And that call and that goal just extended their opportunity to give those guys some rest.
There is a team that can make one hold up. It's Pittsburgh.
Be interesting to see, in the second half, do they come out with the same commitment to press, or are they going to change their tactics a little bit, drop their line?
A couple of runners down the middle. That ball just reaches inside of the 18 for Leaker to get his hands to it. Arteaga and Law were the intended targets.
Yeah, see, that's where the frustration pops in a little bit, because that ball should not have been able to get out that easily into the midfield. But you see that ball's going into Leaker. You got to immediately get your shape back, make sure that the channels are closed down.
Now Cicerone leads the charge. Griffin just poked away by Ouimet. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive Indian Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch or online now at imcu.com today.
Tell you, that was such a good step by Ouimet. You got Velarde making an overlapping run. He's got to make a decision. Do I pick up that run coming across the back, or do I step in and try and win it here?
Arteaga forces the misfire by Robinson.
And that's two. That's 2 rewards for that energy and pressing the ball. One on Leaker, one on Robinson.
Iose goes tumbling. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ+ community. Through the Forever Proud project, the USL will strive to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/forever-proud. Arteaga looking to make the turn. An exceedingly high line being played by Pittsburgh. As you had 20 players seemingly bunched up to the width of about 20 yards between the midfield stripe and the 18. Wild. Flag stayed down. Wheat able to shield that away.
I like the thought, though. High back line. You got some pacey guys up top. See if you can't lift one over and chase it down.
Number 42. He trails for a 3rd consecutive match, and they have not pulled a point from either of those last 2.
What's burned into the minds of the Riverhounds right now is they were up 1-0 against Miami on Saturday, and they gave up a stoppage time goal just before halftime.
Offside flag goes up.
Body language is off a bit right now. You got to rely on the veterans to kind of get this thing going again. connect a couple passes, find a rhythm.
Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time in the first half, brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Williamson got a nick to it, which means it'll be a goal kick for Jordan Farr. Timmer couldn't maintain possession. Cicerone. Blast doesn't get through. Timmer got a piece to it. Buckmaster hustling. Prevents the corner. It will be a throw taken by Kilwine for Pittsburgh.
What a quick change of thoughts from Cicerone at the top of the box. Wanted his shot. Thought he could create the space, a little bit of separation. When he picks his head up to look to hammer it, he recognizes there's another defender there and slots it across.
If you're Martin Rennie, what's your message to your guys at halftime, Brad?
I'll tell you, you got to get some fire back in. I mean, the pressure that's on the ball, the recovery runs not there. There's the energy that we saw from the last two games that we didn't see prior to that goal. The other thing, too, I think it's too easy for Pittsburgh to build through that channel between their back line and their midfield. Cicerone coming back, picking up the ball, and then just being uncontested for 20 to 30 yards.
Cochran, he and Timmer not on the same page. Another opportunity here. That makes the run right side, the overlapping run. Hackshaw does just enough, but could not keep it in the field of play, but it's going to be considered a goal kick. Last touch by the Pittsburgh attacker.
What a run from Gatt. When he recognizes that Cicerone needs a wingman, he takes off on about a 60-yard sprint.
Gatt spent 20 matches with the Colorado Rapids in Major League Soccer 4 years ago. Spent part of the fall playing in Ireland for Dundalk. Velarde.
What a thought. There's nothing. There's just no pressure on the ball right now.
3 additional minutes to be added before we get to the halftime festivities. Back to Leaker for safekeeping. This ball headed down to Favre. No real trouble for Jordan's perspective. And the one opportunity really has been Gordon Wild's free kick from just in front of the 18 that hits off the bar. Arteaga gives chase. Trying to hold up, but just couldn't get anything to it.
Yeah, what a ball by Favre, too.
We met in Cochran. Looking for Wild. Flag goes up. Just
great ball, though. I like, you got these guys on the islands on the edge defender. See if you can't find one of them.
Pittsburgh shaving a few seconds here going into the break. Coming up at halftime, we'll tell you about the USL Academy action that took place here at Carroll Stadium this afternoon. Take you around the league. This is the only match in the championship tonight. Arteaga looking to make a run. Able to break away from Robinson. Here's an opportunity. Arteaga. Good sliding tackle. It will be a corner coming. And a chance for Indy to throw numbers forward.
Great battle from Arteaga and a great backside run by Nicky Law. What a tackle to prevent that ball from going across.
Lofted ball forward by Cammie Smith to give Arteaga the opportunity. It is Gordon Wild that will send it in. 6 in the box for Indy. Wild looking back post and Leaker all over it. Go to turf just to buy a little more time. 30 or so seconds left before we hear the halftime whistle. And that's it. So enough play for half number 1, and again, a goal for Pittsburgh that took a couple of favorable bounces for the Riverhounds from a foul that Indy didn't think was a foul in the first place. Brad, your thoughts on the opening 45 plus?
Frustrating, and I think you can sense that in the body language. I think that's got to be one of the things that turns around here by the time they take the field in 15 minutes.
Indy 11 trailing Pittsburgh 1-0. Pittsburgh looking for their first win in Indianapolis in 4 tries, and Indy trying to avoid a 3rd loss in their return to Carroll Stadium. Stay tuned, a look around the USL Championship and more when we come back for halftime. That opportunity missed. Pittsburgh's opportunity did not. Hounds lead 1-0 on My Indy TV. Halftime underway here at Carroll Stadium. This is actually the second get-together for the Indy 11 and Pittsburgh Riverhounds franchises today, because earlier this afternoon it was the Academy squads that met for the first time in the opening of USL Academy League play. All went well for the home team. Indy won the match 4-1. That's nice, but what's important is that these young players in the Indianapolis and Pittsburgh area getting a chance to showcase their skills at a top level of youth soccer.
Yeah, I love everything about it, and I think what it does is it builds that community even stronger for each team.
Now, earlier, a couple of weeks ago, Memorial Day weekend, there were the USL Academy Cup competitions. These took place down in the Tampa Bay area, and things went very well for the Indy 11 squads in there as they reached the group finals in both the U17 and U13 divisions. And again, this is done in partnership with the Indiana Fire Academy.
Yeah, and look at that combined record, 5-0-1 for those two teams.
And it's great to have 35 players being recognized here at halftime of tonight's match. We'll have more from around the United Soccer League after this. There was a big announcement from the USL in the last few days. Here's some video to tell you about it.
In the box, chance for Williams, off the crossbar and in. Back to Samake, and there's Sparrow again.
J.J. Williams leaves it for Lapa! Salazar cuts it inside. Van Oekel with an excellent save.
By the way, the Extremes hair game in Birmingham these days is absolutely fantastic. And before that, yes, the W League, women's soccer, the United Soccer League, it begins in 2022. 8 teams have committed for now. Frankly, there is going to be more. Again, USLW, look forward to it in 2022. And here's some news and notes from elsewhere around the United Soccer League. And how about Santi Moar? We saw him 3 years ago with the Bethlehem Steel. Last couple of years had spent time in New Mexico. He has been lighting it up to start the season for Phoenix Rising.
Oh, I tell you what, I watched, I think 2 weeks ago, I watched a play. He's not just scoring a lot of goals, he's scoring important goals.
El Salvador is getting some great help from the USL Championship. They are trying to qualify for what is now octagonal qualifying. 8 teams that make the final round of World Cup qualifying in CONCACAF. Martinez from Harper Athletic. We saw Joaquin Ribas earlier this year from Tulsa, who is playing for El Salvador as well. They take a 4-goal lead into the second match with St. Kitts and Nevis tonight. If they can not lose by more than 4, they're on to the final 8 in terms of CONCACAF qualifying. And to find out more about this cool new docu-series about New Mexico United, you can check that out anytime. Again, search for USL Championship as well as New Mexico United. And since we are out west, let's stay out there and about the quarter pole mark of the season. 32 matches will comprise the 2021 USL Championship campaign. There you see the teams that are right now in playoff positions in the Mountain Division as well as the Pacific Division. Obviously, Indy 11 fans saw how good El Paso was last Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you can start to see the cream is starting to rise to the top.
Now let's go to the Eastern Conference. Again, the Atlantic and the Central Division. Tampa Bay Rowdies did suffer their first loss of the season. However, they are still atop the Atlantic Division. And in a very congested Central Division, a little bit of space there for Birmingham Legion, a team that Indy saw and beat back on May 1st.
Yeah, they put a good run together, and you can see in the Atlantic Division, just under Miami, are the Riverhounds.
So again, right now in the Central, Birmingham Legion, Atlanta United 2, Lou City, and Indy 11 are in playoff positions. And again, the outcome of tonight certainly can help the case for the Indy 11 going to the quarter pole of the season. They will go back to divisional play coming up on Sunday. If you didn't believe me, here's proof. Here's big matches coming up around the East. Tomorrow night, busy night, Lou City in Birmingham, Tulsa and Sporting Kansas City 2. So a lot of midweek action for the Central Division teams. Again, that Sporting Kansas City 2 Indy 11 match, that comes up on Sunday.
Yeah, and you cannot, even though there's so much that you're looking forward to when you start seeing the schedule play out like this, you have to take care of business tonight. You've just been kind of a bit of a rut the last 3 matches.
Big week for Lou City. Again, Birmingham Legion top of the table, and an FC Tulsa team that won their first 3, but since has lost their last 3. Stay tuned. We'll have highlights and stats from half number 1. Plus, we'll catch up with Indy 11 head coach Martin Luddy as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer here on My Indy TV. Back at Carroll Stadium, some of the players starting to make their way back out of the locker room, getting ready for half number 2. Score here, 1-0 in favor of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Since this is the only game going on across the league tonight, we thought we'd get the key contests from the Eastern Conference that took place over the weekend. Tampa Bay Rowdies get back on the proper footing as they beat Loudoun United. Lou City dispatches of Memphis with ease 3-0. Birmingham gets a road victory. Atlanta United 2 draw with Sporting Kansas City 2. And Charlotte got 2 goals after the 80th minute to come from behind to beat Hartford Athletic over in the Atlantic Division by a score of 3-2. Again, one more time, our score here in Indianapolis, 1-0 in favor of the visiting Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Alongside Brad Hutter, Greg Rakestraw with you. And again, Indy wasn't chasing the game from the early minutes, but they're chasing it now exactly as they have been in each of their last 2 losses.
Yeah, and I tell you, when you put your tactics together for the second half, you have to have 2 things at hand here. Is, are they going to sit in and drop their line and give you more chance to build in the middle of the part of the field, or are they going to play like they did in the first half and come and press with a higher back line?
A look back at highlights from half number 1, and again, frankly, there weren't that many chances on goal. It's kind of what we expect when Indy and Pittsburgh see each other. Pittsburgh took advantage of one great opportunity. Contact here between Kilwine and Farr. Nothing came up.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you got to reward Kilwine with the thought on this to chase down this ball for this half chance to see what can happen.
By far the best opportunity for the Indy 11 came on a foul just outside of the 18. Wildwood drew the foul. He also would take the shot, and he missed his first Indy 11 goal by a matter of inches.
Oh, that was an absolutely brilliant strike. And again, don't know if Leaker got a hand to it, but it was a heck of a hit.
Well, the best chance for Pittsburgh came on what was a foul as well. And again, from the Indy perspective, didn't look like much of a foul, but it was called, and then fate unkind to the Indy 11 on the blast from Williamson.
Yeah, when you're in one of those ruts where nothing feels like it's going right, nothing goes right.
Double deflection into the back of the net for the first professional goal for the first-year professional, the 12th pick in the MLS Super Draft.
Yeah, and he has been impressive. His pace, his creativity, his ability to drive the ball across the box.
So with that, a quick check of stats from half number 1. Possession relatively even. The offside flag has gone up a few times on the Indy 11. Both teams have had plenty of corners, but again, the shot by Wild, the one official shot for Indy.
Yeah, and that offsides, that can be kind of that result of that high back line and just trying to get that step.
All right, so stats there for you from half number 1. Martin Runny is kind enough to be joining us now. And Martin, whether that goal was deserved or not, it is what it is. You're now chasing the game, a goal down. How does that change things for your team here in half number 2?
Yeah, we need to press more, get forward more. It's a bit disappointing to be one down. We had a good chance, hit the post. Feel like that was a very soft free kick, and they've got a deflection that's going in. So we're on a little bit of a run like right now where little things like that are going against us, but we have to fight back and make it change, and that's our chance to do that in the second half.
From an overall quality, you seeing things improve, though, from the last couple of matches for your team?
Yeah, I mean, it's a scrappy game at the moment. It probably will be on this field, but at the end of the day, we've got to put the ball in the net and keep it out of our own.
That sounds good. Thank you, Coach. Martin Rennie, kind enough to join us right before we begin action here for half number 2. Your thoughts on what Coach had to say?
Well, I agree. I'm glad that he talked about the run that they're on. Sometimes you try and avoid it because you don't want to put the thought in anybody's head and have it go deeper. But sometimes you got to mention it. You got to bring it to life. You got to have everybody embrace it and just say, okay, we end that rut now.
No changes from either side to begin half number 2. No longer a sun in the eyes of goalkeeper Jordan Farr that he needs to deal with. And again, temperature conditions certainly don't merit the need for any changes. Last time the Indy 11 were at home, we saw them make 3 substitutions to start half number 2. Not that type of match, but you still some way have to see more in terms of the generation of offense for the Indy 11.
Yeah, and since you're not going with the personnel changes, you're saying, okay, you fix it on the field. You change, make some things happen, because otherwise we got some subs, and we can change the pieces if we need to.
From an attacking standpoint, players like Nick Moon and Jordan Hamilton are available off the bench for selection for Martin Running. Nicky Law gets his ball and steers it rather casually inside of the 18 to the 6, where Leaker's able to make a play. Where Leaker has been at his best is he has taken charge on the corners that the Indy 11 has had so far. There has been next to no opportunities from said corners for Indy tonight.
Yeah, very solid in the air.
Hackshaw. Williamson applying pressure, and Farr did the best he could with it. Wild will knock it forward. See if Arteaga can give chase. 1v1 with Jalen Robinson. Robinson will play it off the side for an Indy 11 throw in.
And not a bad thought with Arteaga in a 1v1. However, maybe play that ball back into a midfielder who has the entire field of vision in front of him.
Going to welcome those of you joining us on ESPN Plus on My Indy TV. And tonight's game is available for audio only on Sirius XM FC 157. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you. And at number 47, Williamson's goal. Own tally so far. These two teams got together last year. Indy won in 1-0 fashion. Those goals coming from Tyler Pasher. Of course, he now of the Houston Dynamo. Sports this match brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong.
Good step.
Smith. Wild to his right. Arteaga to his left. Law providing support. Ioza into the mix. Wheat will clear it, but it will be a corner for the Indy 11. That was all from Reese Buckmaster that generated that entire opportunity. Take a look at it here.
It's a good step. It's a good step. Draws the defenders in, opens up some space out wide. You'd love to just see that develop a little bit quicker, maybe to Ioza's feet where you can get a touch on it.
This is Wild who will steer it in. The flick that Arteaga couldn't steer on frame. Arteaga, a pair of goals for the Indy 11 so far this season. The opening strike against Birmingham Legion back on May 1st. Another goal against Sporting Kansas City 2 here. Opportunity. Hackshaw with a touch, and then a second one to casually sweep it away from Gett. And now Wild, can he get onto this one? Nope. Wheat, well done. Wheat's in the last 2 years with Hartford Athletic. Hartford Athletic, a playoff team for the first time last year. References earlier in the broadcast. Remember that crazy deflection at the end of the year that got Hartford to win at Philadelphia Union 2, and that is one sent Pittsburgh to Louisville in week 1 instead. Throw in coming here for Indy, and then at number 49.
They come with such numbers. You have to break that initial press and then move it off that side of the field. You make them chase. You make them chase, and they can't keep it up.
Pittsburgh keeping Indy pinned to that opposite sideline. We're in the early stages of half number 2. Pittsburgh starting to send their fleet of talented reserves tonight. Guys like the all-time assist leader in USL Championship play, Canardo Forbes. And a lot of starters that they have kept on the bench for this evening's game. And they played 3 days ago, a 1-1 draw against Miami FC. Buckmaster on side, Arteaga wins the 50-50 duel. Buckmaster can do nothing with it. Rivera.
Oh, what a find.
Thought there was a handball there, didn't get caught. Now Velarde with an opportunity. If he can get the ball in time. That one over Farr's head, clears everybody. Gatt will recycle. Left-footed blast up and over the bar. Indy 11 Premium Suites, the perfect way to entertain your guests. Learn more at Indy11.com or call 317-685-1100. Wild, nice touch. Smith trying to find Buckmaster. Peters does just enough with that.
Good pressure.
Throw in coming here for Indy.
Quick one.
They oblige to find Gordon Wild. And Wild goes to turf, draws the foul, and this will be the equivalent of a short corner coming here for the Indy 11.
A bit of a late whistle on that, and had that not been called, I think you would have had the Brickyard Battalion simply explode.
Wild and Law will stand over this one.
Great job just to put his body between the ball and the defender.
Gordon, a native of Germany. And USC Upstate and Maryland before turning pro.
Good hatch on the backside. He's been so effective on that ball that's driven over the box.
It'll be Gordon Wild that sends it in and overcooked it. Probably would have been the right ball from the actual corner flag. Instead, another missed opportunity for the Indy 11. Fans are reminded to watch Wish TV, your local news source. Find them online at wishtv.com. Of course, normally you'll catch a simulcast of Wish TV news from 10 o'clock on here on My Indy TV, but we'll be on until 10:30 with the Honda postgame show presented by Bet Rivers. Then we will join the Wish TV evening news. Wish TV anchor Charlie Clifford out here tonight for the Cheers to Indy toast. Next time, Brett, I'll make sure he mentions you in the toast.
He had a great rake stretch here. That was fantastic.
Chip finds Rovera. The lead. Williamson trying to settle. Gets it right back to Rovera. Now Kilwine sends it in. And
what a ball.
Hackshaw got to it first. Clearly, Hackshaw's presence has been felt in a most positive manner for the Indy 11 tonight. That has kept them in it. There just has not been enough offensive opportunities yet. For part of that, you obviously give credit to Pittsburgh. This is part and parcel of playing a Bob Lilly team. For an Indy 11 squad that has scored or struggled to score as of late. That trend is noticeable. Arteaga heads up in the BYB. I see somebody made a catch. Nobody spilled a beverage. Well done, fans. We saw Arteaga connect, even if it wasn't officially counted. Last time the Indy 11 were home back on June 5th from a somewhat similar position.
Right, and almost the same thing, just a quick turn and hit.
Arteaga from Venezuela. Met with a read going, but does force a mistake. Wild. Peters just enough to slow the run.
Good move.
Wild looking for the cross. Wants to get back to that left foot.
Just got caught underneath him a bit.
And that'll provide support. Wimet sends it in. It was Robinson that got there first. Nicky Law was the Indy 11 player closest to it. Law skies it. Arteaga battles for it. Swept aside by Kilwine, or by Gadd, excuse me. Well, the possession's starting to build around the 18 for the Indy 11. You like the way the heat map's looking. You don't like the way the scoreboard looks for the Indy 11. The Indy 11 team that should be on fresher legs, having had 6 days in between matches. But with both teams having 5 subs available, a lot can change in the next 10 to 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you got to start asking some different questions of Pittsburgh's back line. Right now, it's just a little bit of combination here in across the back line, and then it's a ball that's driven up or over or into. Instead, it's got to be a couple of quick passes that bring that pressure, and then you got to break that press and then look to move it quickly. Not everything has to go forward.
While you're on the road and can't watch the match, please tune in Sirius XM FC 157. Hello to all of you listening to tonight's broadcast on North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio. Catch our buddies Mike Watson, Devin Kerr every Tuesday at 7 for USL All Access. You get the best matches from our league, not to mention Major League Soccer, Premier League, UEFA Champions League, and the great daily program. Sirius XM FC, channel 157. Sliding tackle by Peters. Deep corner throw coming for the Indy 11. Wild walks the tightrope, but it goes right into the side netting. Again, he's from a family of circus performers, so the fact that he can walk a tightrope should not be that big of a surprise.
That's brilliant. But I'll tell you what, there is zero space, and you can see that it's exactly what the defender's thinking. There's no way he's going to try and walk the end line.
Smith the pressure and just hooked enough of the Pittsburgh player to draw the foul. Danny Rovira, the aggrieved party currently on the turf here at Carroll Stadium. Rovira originally from Colombia. Played his college soccer here in the States. And we met. We'll win that foot race. Play it back to Jordan Farr.
Yeah, I tell you, Williamson saw it. He just took off right for Farr as soon as we met turn.
Arteaga goes to the turf and will draw the whistle. And a card being shown to Peters. So Griffin and Peters have both been carded tonight. And by the way, the fleet of substitutions about to start for Pittsburgh. And these are all key pieces of numerous successful teams. Dixon, Dequa, and Forbes all in full kit and ready to head to the fourth official when given the opportunity.
Love the mindset. Love the mindset in it, and just saying, okay, that's enough rest, fellas. Let's close this one out.
For the guys on the field, you've gotten a 60. We'll take you the rest of the way home. Peters, Law the settle. Law again a touch. Eventually Peters will sweep it away. Timmer. And Timmer. Another card shown to Williamson. And Timmer in a great deal of pain. And again, Timmer's a young man that suffered a broken leg in a match at Butler. Bob Lilly not happy about the call, and Jared proceeds to go, hey, here's the stud marks in case you're questioning the call. So Timmer hobbling on after that one. That broken leg that Jared suffered in college happened in a match in Louisville. The lead back in 2017.
And the heel, the studs on the heel caught just the side, right to the side of the shin guard.
Long distance ball, Arteaga the target. Good job by Rovira to sweep that ball away. Now the question is, can Pittsburgh get to it before it gets to the corner flag? The answer is no. So corner coming for the Indy 11. And Indy bringing everybody up, knowing that it may come from this and not necessarily the run of play against this stalwart Pittsburgh defense. Nicky Law will send it in.
Well, you got Cammy Smith at the top of the
Wide
box.
open.
If they keep pulling, if Wild can keep pulling that gap open.
He has acres of space at the edge of the 18. Send it out to Wild instead. Wild's ball in. Wheat got there first. Does Buckmaster give it a go? Smith's ball doesn't clear. Second ball is kind of lifted into the mixer. Cicerone had it at his feet. No foul given either direction, but back to safety. It counts as a win for Pittsburgh. Smith will lead for Buckmaster.
Love it. Love the energy.
Arteaga with the dig. Give and go. Arteaga gets clobbered. Advantage is being played.
Wow.
Now it's stopped. Yellow shown to Peters. That's a red. The immediate show of the yellow was because that was a red card, and all of a sudden, Pittsburgh plays a man down for the final 30-plus minutes. That was the reason why that advantage was not played. They wanted to give Indy the opportunity to play with the man advantage for the final 30 minutes.
He had played a great game up until that point. The three subs coming in for Pittsburgh are all three are attacking pieces. Is there a different decision that's made now?
So second yellow shown to Peters, an immediate red. A year ago, Indy won 1-0, playing a man down for the final 40 minutes. Pittsburgh now will try to do the same. The three subs will go ahead and enter for Pittsburgh simultaneously. And a yellow shown to Bob Lilly as well. The formation, I'm seeing this off camera. Pittsburgh will play a 5-3-1 is how they will defend this. Velarde is done for the night. Williamson is done for the night. He'll be replaced by Dequa. Velarde exiting to be replaced by Forbes. And then Dixon will be replacing Gatt. So again, three tremendous players all coming in for Pittsburgh, but something they will chase the game a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the pace of Dixon, watch out for that as Indy starts to press for the equalizer and starts to get a little bit out of shape and opening up some space and opportunities over the top. Watch that ball delivered by Pittsburgh just in the space for Dixon to run onto.
Alex Dixon was with Hartford the last 2 years. 11 goals in 42 matches. Forbes and Dequa, much more long-term Pittsburgh guys. Forbes has been with Bob Lilly for the last 7 seasons as the 32-year-old. Wild, line drive, Law a touch. Dequa got in the way and booted to safety. And Jordan Farr will play it deftly for the Indy 11.
That is so valuable to have a keeper that's good with their feet.
Here's Forbes. And now Cochran on the foot race.
And this is one of the instructions from Pittsburgh is you got to manage this last bit of the game. Only chase, only press things that give you a great opportunity.
And now Ioze will be shown a card as he got Rivera a bit high. No argument from Ioze. He'll go to Rivera and offer his apology. So first yellow shown to the Indy 11 tonight. And every stoppage now, you kind of see 30 seconds will come off the clock here from the Riverhounds, able to slow things down a bit.
And philosophically, defensively, you don't change your mindset. You press, you try and trap on the outsides, reduce space, reduce opportunities.
Pittsburgh sends defenders forward here to give Forbes a target. But that ball immediately swept back to midfield by Arteaga. Wild gives chase and all the way back to Leaker. Good pressure by Arteaga. He has certainly played with a renewed fire here in half number 2. Nick Moon, Patrick Segrist making their way towards the Indy 11 bench. There's two of the talented young players for the Indy 11. We'll hear their names called next.
Well, you take a player off the field, and that opens up a whole lot more space, and you're bringing on a whole lot of pace right now.
Moon has a goal this year for the Indy 11. Sports the Match brought to us by Bet Rivers, the official sports betting partner of the Indy 11. Bet with a winner. Seegers, the young man on loan from Inter Miami. Both these two players, guys who played their college soccer in Milwaukee. Moon at Milwaukee, Seegers for Marquette. Leaker will take time to read the classified section before he boots the ball back into midair. Dequa, great read. Worked around Hackshaw for a moment. But even when it appears Hackshaw is beaten, he wins those battles. And Wild is just a touch offside.
Tell you what, the back line of Pittsburgh has done a great job of holding that line, stepping at the right time.
So next stoppage in play, Indy will use their first 2 substitutions of the match. Pittsburgh defensively with 10 is still better than a lot of teams 11.
And with the 5 in the back and 3 in a screen in front of them, that's going to cause some problems unless you can catch them in transition when they're a little bit out of shape.
Jose will knock it back to Hackshaw. Now space to build for Timmer. Timmer looking for Wild and or Buckmaster, but well done by Kilwine to keep Wild at bay and give Leaker an unabated run to the ball. And Indy will play again this weekend, but not again until Sunday, so they've got time. They're not worried about saving legs for the next one. They're trying to find a way to at least get a point off of this one. The United Soccer League, all 31 championship clubs and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. For more information, the USL's commitment to change through the United Against Racism campaign, visit uslsoccer.com. We met, trying to switch the sides of the attack.
With that back 5, there's no space right now. You got to move the ball. You got to bring Pittsburgh into pockets and then quickly whip it out of there.
Dequa up on top on Strikers Island right now for Pittsburgh, is trying to pin the action to one side or the other. Sports the Match is brought to us by the Denny Company, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Ball finds Neville Hackshaw, but Neville can't keep it in play. And that will lead to the opportunity for substitutions for Indy. Seegers in, Ioze out. And Reese Buckmaster clearly thinks that Nick Moon is coming in for him.
Exiting the game, number 7, Ioze.
And he is correct.
Number 2,
So Reese is done for the night. Segrist in for Ioze, so fresh legs on each of the wings for the Indy 11. And those are guys that have largely been interchangeable this year. Two substitutions available for Pittsburgh, and they're about to make both of them right now. Mikel Williams will enter the next stoppage in play once he makes his way to the 4th official. Can't get a read on the 5th sub yet for Pittsburgh, but
you got great pace on the outside. You got to give these guys the opportunity to use their advantage by getting it into the spaces that they can use their speed. And the timing's a bit off on the runs, and I think that's where, you know, Indy's been called off sides. The defender doesn't have their head up yet to be able to deliver the ball, and the run is already going.
Timmer, the flick. Wild had stopped his run, but Nicky Law had not. Ball rolls through, and
oh my!
Never could find the foot of an Indy 11 player. Cammie Smith had the dummy. He tried to let a teammate grab onto it. Wild played through a Pittsburgh defender. That is Rovira. He'll buy a little more time.
Yeah, and if you're Indy right now, don't know who it is, but you got to have somebody that fights their way onto the other end of this ball and anticipates that it's going to get through and across the top of the 6.
It's Wheat who swept that ball away. It's Todd Wharton that'll be the 5th substitution. Wharton, a stalwart of the midfield last year for St. Louis FC, veteran of this league. Williams will come in replacing Robinson, so Pittsburgh elected to go with some fresher legs along the back line. Wharton in for Cicerone, his teammate now and again last year in St. Louis, and that's to provide more midfield traffic, knowing you're going to have less of an attacking presence in the final 20 minutes.
And I think in the game against Miami on Saturday, both of these guys started and were pulled off at about the 65th minute, probably to save their legs for a moment like this.
So the subs are done for Pittsburgh with 20-ish minutes left to go in the match. He still has 3 substitutions. Jordan Hamilton will be one of them as he has made his way to the team bench, trying to add some late firepower for Martin Rennie's team.
Yeah, you look at Pittsburgh, they're still biting on that ball on the outside. They're still sending players there. So you got to keep playing it into that pocket, pull them in.
This match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong.
I like that thought. Find Nicky Law's feet in the middle, get them to collapse in the middle, open up the wings more.
Segrist connects with Smith. Moon. Good run going. It's virtually a 7 or 8 man wall that Indy is facing along the back line right now. Wild is onside. Here's an opportunity. Law, top of the 18, didn't get to him. Hackshaw will work his way around Dixon, or at least attempt to. And now Moon. Wild had just broken off his stride. That's the end of that for Indy. Still a lot of time left to go and a lot of ground to cover with Pittsburgh playing a man down. Indy on the road for their next 2 at Sporting Kansas City 2. It's on Sunday afternoon, then back at Lou City. Indy will change their alignment. Carl Ouimet will sprint off the field, so Hamilton can come aboard. Timmer will drop back to more defensive role, as Indy will overload the field with strikers, trying to balance the 5 at the back for Pittsburgh. 2 subs remaining for Indy. USL recently announced the formation of the USL W League, providing increased equity and opportunity for women looking to pursue careers in soccer, both on and off the pitch. Comprised of clubs from across the championship, League 1, League 2, and new expansion markets, the W League is set to begin play in 2022 in more than 30 communities across the U.S. Visit USLWleague.com to learn more. Timmer and Wharton collide, and it's deemed to be a high boot by Wharton. And Cicerone Not happy with that call. Bob Lilly walks over and says, "It's okay, it's all right."
Always the peacemaker. Hey, you got to be careful that it doesn't get too predictable. You know, the opportunities of building through Nicky Law in the middle, close things down centrally, bring more players centrally, and then that opens up more pockets out wide.
Timmer this time gets the whistle against him as Wharton was able to draw it. And that was exceedingly well done by Forbes, because he knew if he played that ball to Dequay, he's offside. He held up for the run to timeout for Wharton to maintain possession. And again, every stoppage in play like this is another 30 seconds you pull off the clock if you're Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and you got to be careful because of situations like this. Here you've got the USL's all-time leading assist. A guy on a restart in a dangerous spot. They can make it 2-0 if you're not careful.
Farr walls up and keeps that one from crossing the end line. Now Smith will lead the charge as Pittsburgh had thrown a few numbers forward, but he and Jordan Hamilton are on the same page. That was a touch off of Dequay, by the way. It will be an Indy 11 throw-in. Of course, this match is brought to us by the Hyatt Place and Hyatt House, downtown Indianapolis. Experience comfort in downtown Indy.
Look at this Nick Moon on the outside, tons of space. Can you find him before they can shift? Too many passes, took too long. Now you got 3 players.
Smith finds a pocket of space. Hamilton, couple of touches. Sees a wall of white in front of him. Law. Smith couldn't get to it, or Moon, excuse me. Just missed it, but the right idea.
Clever thought, good run.
Malich, Kofi, and Peter Lee Vossel, the 3 remaining field players that could feature in this match for Indy. And 2 subs available for Martin Running. Bobby Edwards, if needed, as the backup goalkeeper. Moon, he and Timmer not on the same page. Timmer last year with Reno in his first pro season. Reno operation closed down at the end of the season despite making the Western Conference Finals. Well done by Timmer to win that ball away from Forbes. Now tries to launch and find Hamilton. Hamilton is onside. Here comes several members of the Indy 11 trying to help out. Hamilton, left foot, did not get through, but that will be a corner. Or is the flag up? No, offside flag was up. Smith made an attempt to play that. He was not onside, hence flag goes up. I'll have a good look at it from the camera. Yep. And that ball ricocheted off Smith. He's offside. And if he had it all screened the keeper on that play, it would have been deemed offside as well. And that's referee talk, sponsored by Insert Your Business Name here.
There you go. There's a ball. Here's a ball. Now quick.
Moon, what a play by Rivera. Good win back by Moon. Moon sends it in, but too close to Leaker to really do any damage. This portion of this match is brought to us by Mentor Insurance. Everybody needs a mentor. The Indy 11 need a goal They have gotten to the point where a couple of weeks ago against Oklahoma City, a draw felt like a loss. Tonight would be a night where a draw might feel like a win. Arteaga the target. Wheat got there first. Forbes likes to play that ball back to Mikel Williams.
It's just a little too easy for Pittsburgh to solve problems right now. They're having to answer the same question. This ball over the top.
Moon trying to time the run. Rivera has really been a factor in the second half.
What a read.
We barely called his name the first half. He has been involved in a lot of things good for Pittsburgh in half number 2.
That step right there, that was incredible. That was an incredible read.
Native of Columbia. Spent 2 years playing at the Division III level college soccer before playing at Vermont. Rivera, 10 appearances last year, 4 starts. 3rd year with the Riverhounds. Well, last touch by Segrist. Still a good amount of time here for the Indy 11. At least 10 minutes left in this match. Has the equally fresh legs of Wharton with him step for step.
Yeah, and Wharton did enough to slow that down and allow Pittsburgh to get everybody back behind the ball. Smart move. Now look, you got 2 players out here in the open. Slow pass, multiple touches, everybody shifts back over.
Segrist timed the run, but couldn't time the way to the pass. Hackshaw will step a little bit further into the attack and makes that pass and is told, hey, treat this like a corner, guys. Get into the box.
Uncharacteristic mistake. You take a look at that ball. It was hit so strongly. Could have run out for a goal kick.
You notice defenders are stepping up. Hackshaw will try to howitzer this one inside of the 18.
Good ball.
Cochran got there, but nobody waiting backside. This ball will go right to the 4th official. Fight, Indy, fight. The chance for the Brickyard Battalion.
Good ball. Good turn.
Smith flicks this for Hackshaw. Hackshaw trying to find a window of space. Good double by Dixon and Forbes. And Dixon sweeps it away. And a missed touch by Farr. It gives everybody just a little more time to breathe.
As you look, there's still the opportunity on the high line in moments.
Wild, well done. Hamilton.
There you go.
Smith. Looking back post, Segrist, he's offside. Offside. Arteaga touched it in, but Segrist was deemed to be off.
It's the timing. It's the timing. It's the timing.
Take a look. Tough to tell from that angle, but did not see a bit of argument from the Indy 11 bench on that call.
Really great delivery.
Moon. Able to give Kilwine just enough of a spot of bother. Nedeljko Malic will be the next player to enter for Indy. Wild and Law could not connect on the pass. Dequa can buy some time and real estate here for Pittsburgh.
You got to step. You got to go.
And Leaker. Someone shanks that one, although anywhere outside of the 18 was a win. Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. As you see on your screen, Indy's been playing a man of the good for 24 minutes. It is yet to change the outcome of this match. Arteaga, Hamilton. Hamilton's touch back to Law a bit too strong. Indy will reset. Forbes does just enough, and Law equally does a good job of getting in the way.
You had Hackshaw.
Zimmer applied pressure. Far. And then made an errant touch. Dequa can take a blast that ricocheted off the chest of Cochran. That frankly should have been 2-0.
Yeah, he hit it too soon. He hit it too soon. He needed one more touch to get that ball under control.
That may be a sign of, even from the subs, some tired legs from Pittsburgh. And they have focused their energy defensively for the last 25 minutes. Moon.
There you go.
By Warden. Indy asking for the sub now because they want to get the size of Malich into the game, and with that, Cammie Smith will hustle off the field. So one more target into Delko Malich, veteran from Bosnia and Herzegovina that spent 15 years playing in Austria.
And I'll tell you what, you got Gordon Wild, who can deliver a great ball. You got Cochran and a Hackshaw, great in the air. Arteaga, great in the air. Malich, great in the air. Hamilton, great in the air. Moon, great in the air.
It's Wild that sends it in, goes right to Leaker.
Can't have that ball.
It's been that kind of run lately for the Indy 11. Ball deflected by Hackshaw, but Leaker quickly off his line and plays that back in the middle of the park, and then Segrist did what you absolutely cannot do, and that's given a foul there, and he has shown a yellow. But Leaker was some degree off his line, and the defense was to some degree out of kilter, and now that foul buys recovery time and less time to defend if you're Pittsburgh.
It's little things, you know, here right in this moment, instead of this, you're going to have a minute more time in the game, and you're going to have a throw-in.
Pittsburgh searching for their first win in Indy. A draw and 2 losses to show for their previous trips to Lucas Oil Stadium. Malich playing up top almost as a striker role right now for the Indy 11. Using that size. Dixon got in the way of that pass, intended for Segrist. And again, Hackshaw. Now a card's going to be shown for delay of game towards Dixon. And again, it'll be Hackshaw on the throw because they feel he can best get it into the 18.
He gets it right to about where Malich is, and so you need a guy that just can flick it on. Hope that you draw enough Pittsburgh players into that area to open up something on the backside.
Hackshaw sends it in. Ball pinballs around. Wild goes to turf, nothing there. And now Griffin races out of there with it. 5 additional minutes left to play. Dixon is onside. Forbes also onside, but
there you go.
Runs out of teammates, and now Pittsburgh sent 3 or 4 forward. Now you've got less track to deal with if you're Indy. Law and Wheat. Works his way around Malich.
And that's a tough part when you've got a center back playing up top as a target. When they haven't made those reads on a regular basis, he's looking for the ball over the top. There, Nicky Law's looking for the ball at his feet.
Dequa was offside. 4 minutes and change left to go in this one, as the Indy 11 hope to avoid a third home loss in the first 2 months of the season. Hackshaw sends it in. Ball is hit. It's loose.
I thought there was a handball in there.
That's what the ask is from the Brickyard Battalion. There was so much traffic, we never really had a chance to see it. That ball never got to Leaker, got to the top of the head of a defender. But where it caromed after that, who knows? When we get a chance to take a look, we most certainly will. So we point out, no VAR at this level. Hamilton finds some space. Can he give it a blast? Left side, it goes right to Leaker. There's not enough traffic in front to make a difference. So now we'll take a look. Was there a handball involved there? No. 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 Shoulder. Right, no call. Well done by our match referee. Great job by our Tupelo Honey crew to show it to you. Foul called against Pittsburgh. And I did not give out this many cards at Christmas time last year.
Need one here.
Hackshaw and Dequa collide.
Indy needs a hero. Indy needs a heroic moment right now to pull this one back. There's many things that have gone wrong that's been outside of their control over the past couple weeks. At some point, that scale's got to tip back the other way. Somebody on the field's got to have that moment for Indy.
96th minute, Tyler Pasher got a winner a year ago. 3 years ago, Jack McInerney, 93rd minute, got an equalizer against Pittsburgh. It has happened before. There's loose change here, but Leaker able to fall on it.
I'm not sure why he came out for that ball, but
there are two players coming up a bit stumbling for Pittsburgh at the end of it. Leaker will go down and buy some time. Williams down at the end of the play. I saw Wheat was moving around a bit gingerly as well. And Pittsburgh is out of substitutions. Take a look here.
Yeah, you're not going to get to that ball.
That was friendly fire, if you will, because the keeper and Leaker kind of took out both defenders in trying to get it.
I love the aggressive mindset in coming out for that, but
defenders soldier on for Pittsburgh. I'd imagine maybe another 30 seconds get tacked onto this match, meaning you're still less than 2 minutes to go if you're Indy. You're trying to find an equalizer. Wild. And Leaker's got it.
yeah, I tell you, when he's shown he's coming off his line for everything, you got to make sure you eliminate him from play. Don't give him a chance to come out for it.
The Brickyard Battalion sending their warmest wishes to Leaker after making that play.
Yeah, that ball, you just got to eliminate the keeper.
And Malich did get a boot on top.
That's a lot of weight, though. That's a lot of man coming down on your foot.
The Delco is one of the biggest buildings ever played for the Indy 11. Dequa will work that one. Dixon's offside.
Not enough energy to win that ball in the middle of the field.
Again, 30 seconds perhaps left in this one. Second ball got on the field, hence the stoppage.
35 seconds.
Now we'll watch the match referee as much as where the ball is placed here. Timmer sends it in. Arteaga skies it. Malich trying to carve out space. No look at the wristwatch just yet. Wild tracks it down for the Indy 11. This ball going in the wrong direction from the Indy perspective. There's a glance at the watch. It's got to come quickly. It's got to be on this attack.
Need that moment.
Wharton pokes it away. It will be an Indy 11 throw-in.
It's a good ball.
And Dequa just simply sweeps it into the park. Farr will track it down.
What a touch.
Nothing yet. We play on. Malich couldn't get to it. There it is. That's it. Well, a well-earned 3 points for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Again, they played well here tonight. And Indy 11 fans might feel that the foul that set up the goal was not a foul. And clearly there was a couple of turns of fate on that ball that ricocheted twice before finding the back of the net that resulted in the only goal of the match. But Pittsburgh played well as the road team, played well as the team with squad rotation, and the Indy 11's home struggles continue as they have now lost 3 matches at Carroll Stadium of the first 8 of the season.
Tough. You know, it's one of those things where you can look at it and say, hey, if we're not playing well, okay, but bad breaks.
Tough night for the Indy 11. They fall by a goal. Back to wrap it up next as you're watching on My Indy TV. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. And by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Tonight's final score presented by Sherwin-Williams. More than 25 locations across Indianapolis. Your neighborhood paint store is always there to provide the perfect finish. The Indy 11 give up a first half goal on a free kick that had more twists and turns than a Southern Indiana country road. They also played a man of the good for more than 30 minutes in the second half, and it did not make a difference. Tip of the cap to that man and his team. Bob Lilly and Pittsburgh get their first ever win in Indianapolis, 1-0. Indy's struggles after beating Lou City continue. That is now 3 consecutive losses and 1 point from their last possible 12. Overall, your thoughts on the way things played out tonight?
You know, since the Lou City win, it's just been a different team. And, you know, you've had adversity, you've had bad breaks, you've had bad calls, you've had bad bounces. But that's part of the game. That kind of stuff happens, and you got to find a way as a team to get. I mean, that stuff happens in life too. I mean, you get into these ruts where you got adversity, you got all this chaos that comes in. You got to have somebody step up and change the energy, or this team has got to galvanize around a different mindset coming into training and coming into games.
Honda post-game show presented by Bet Rivers is on the way next. We'll talk. We have asked for that man in terms of Jordan Farr, Jared Timmer, as well as Martin Runny in the post-game show. We will take you until 10:30 with coverage here from Carroll Stadium. Again, Indy did a lot of things well tonight, but still could not generate much in the way of offense against the always stingy Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And with that, the Indy 11 struggles continue. Final score for the mic this evening: Pittsburgh Riverhounds 1, Indy 11 0. Stay tuned, more post-game coverage comes your way next as you're watching Indy 11 soccer on MyIndy TV.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.